So I did this cinnamon swirl cake before at my site, but today what I want to do is half the recipe and throw a bunch of junk in it, all right? Let's get started. You're watching the Bare Pantry Show. Welcome to the Bare Pantry Show. If you want to learn how to cook in simple steps and have your dishes come out great the first time, then you're in the right place. Learn to make restaurant-style meals, comfort foods, and authentic Belizean dishes from basic ingredients. You like how I said throw a bunch of junk? So the original recipe calls for 3 cups of flour. So I'm going to do a cup and a half. This is a 1.5 cup. Let me make sure. 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And then it says a cup of sugar. So we're going to do half a cup of sugar. It says 4 teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And then it calls for salt. I'm not going to put any salt. It says a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, so it'd be like an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. I'm not going to put any because it calls for butter and my butter is salted already, okay? So this is the butter. The original recipe says half a cup of unsalted butter. I'm doing 1/4 cup of salted butter and I have to melt this. So let me go over to the microwave and melt this really quickly. So what I want to throw in it, I don't think I'm going to put this in a book unless it comes out with coconut flakes and some walnuts. Not walnuts. What's this stuff that I have here, Joel? Pecans. Some pecans. Belize people say pecans, right? Don't we say pecans, Joel? Huh? Pecan? Who say pecans? Nobody we know? I'm going to crush it up. Okay, let's continue making this though. Oh, I also want to put some pudding mix. I really wanted to put more. How much is this? About a teaspoon? About a teaspoon and a half. Let's put that in the milk. That's just some vanilla pudding mix. You know we do a lot of baking in here. If I have a whole jar for the pudding mix, we always have vanilla and lemon. If Jada comes back in time with more pudding mix, we'll put more. But for right now, we're going to do this. All right, so the egg. Let me do the butter first. Put the butter in here. I'm cooking the same way I would normally cook in my house. No, don't have anything ready. Put the butter. Then we're going to need an egg. The original recipe calls for 2 eggs. So this half recipe will be 1. Let's double check that. Come on, I pressed it too hard. Yeah. And it says 2 tablespoons of vanilla, but who does that? We're just going to put 1 teaspoon. I don't know, 2 tablespoons. So we're going to say the original recipe calls for 2 teaspoons. We're going to put 1. That's the oven up to temperature at 350. Beat this egg. It's one of these dump cakes. So you're supposed to just dump everything in. But I like to beat my eggs separately. This is the best thing my friend Cindy ever gave me because you can really get in here and work these type of cakes, all right? So let's work this up. Let's put the milk and the pudding mix. So 1.5 teaspoons of pudding mix. I think if Jada came back in time and brought it, I would have put maybe a tablespoon of the pudding mix. So 1 tablespoon is the equivalent to 3 teaspoons. So I'm only half of what I really wanted to put in here, okay? See how quickly this came together with this paddle? What do you call this thing? Spurtle Myrtle? Do you guys like my hat? Me and Jory are making these little hat as a part of my brand. We just made this one today. So this cake is supposed to be a very thick batter because it's a cinnamon swirl cake and we're going to put a cinnamon mixture in here. So if you want to eat cinnamon bread or cinnamon rolls and you don't want to mess with dough and yeast and all that stuff, this would be a great equivalent. All right? Get this all off here. And then let's start adding the rest of the junk I want to add in here. Some of the flakes. Did I put the extra? Yeah, I did. I can't open none of these things with these nails my sister put on me. This feels like a 1/2 cup. I don't want to put too much. Yeah, I think that looks good. Too much will be too much. Did you see how I said that? Too much will be too much. Put some big pieces of pecans. That way if somebody doesn't like it, you can pick it out, right? But this is like something me and Joe will eat. Now I didn't know what pan I was gonna put it in, because normally the full recipe calls for a 9 by 13 pan. So what I did here, just a little bit, I grabbed 2 of these pans. You know how when you buy these, they come by 3. This is the small, the medium, and then they have the large. What do you guys think? I think the small one will fit it. I'll ask Joe. He has a better eye for that kind of math stuff. Don't know how to cook or need an idea on what to cook? Are you sick and tired of complicated recipes that never seem to come out right? Are you fed up with cookbooks that use expensive or unique ingredients and never offer easily accessible substitutions? Then you might want to check out my collection of cookbooks. Beans and Rice Volume 2 is the updated version of my first cookbook. It's loaded with 130 authentic Belizean recipes. It even has everyday substitutions for the unique spices. The recipes are easy to follow, budget-friendly, sinfully delicious, and guaranteed to come out perfect each time. My second cookbook, The Pantry Laid Bare, is a collection of everyday recipes that are sure to please a crowd. Make dishes from different cultures, easy muffins, cookies and cakes, vegetarian dishes, and many assortment of homemade bread. Make better than restaurant quality dishes at home. Has the pandemic left you needing to curtail and make smaller batches of food? Then my latest cookbook, No More Leftovers, is the perfect book for you. I've downsized many of the recipes from my first and second book, and I've added a bunch of brand new recipes to the collection. Make 1 loaf of bread, small batches of cookies, dinners for 2, and many, many desserts. Get your copies of any of my books today only at www.barepantryshow.com. Shop safely and securely at www.barepantryshow.com. I almost feel like this pan's a little bit too big. But I really wanted it in a pan like this rather than a square pan. You could do a 9 by 9 pan, okay? So it's very thick, so just kind of spread it. I'm rushing because I have a subscriber coming to the house. They're not going to come in. We're just going to go say hi at the car. They came to shop at my health food guy. She and her mom and dad. So we're just going to go to the car and say, hey. I don't even know if I'm going to record it. All right, so I have this. Now, let me tell you what that is. That's, the original recipe says 1 cup of butter softened, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, and 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and you mix that together to make the big cake. So you would do half cup of butter, half cup of brown sugar, half a tablespoon of ground cinnamon, and 1 tablespoon of flour, and you get a thing that looks like this. The reason I have this is because I made this cake 2 days ago and I gave it all away because I'm making it for the book, right? So I have some, that's why I was kind of, you know, excited to do this. So you put these dollops, can you guys see? Really wish I had a cameraman today. Put these dollops in the pan. And so you guys are seeing, see how thick this thing is? Just put those dollops in there. So your butter has to be softened and not melted, or else this is going to come like water, okay? So I'm just going to keep dropping it all over, and then I'll show you what we do next. The next thing you do is just kind of swirl it, okay? That's why it's called a cinnamon swirl cake. This cinnamon stuff to be right in the middle of the batter, okay? When you get this off the knife, then we're going to stick it in the oven for about 30 minutes. The oven is up to temperature at 350. So I just took it out of the oven, so it went for 45 minutes. I already tested before I took it out. If you see a little bit of mess, remember it's all that gooey stuff that we put inside. It's done. It's done. So I'm going to make some powdered sugar glaze, just some powdered sugar and milk. I'm going to glaze the top of this, okay? Alright guys, Jada is still making a hot mess in this kitchen, but whatever she's making is going to be delicious when it's done. Cut into this gooey mess. The cake is very soft. Ooh, look at all that cinnamon. I've come to the conclusion that this is my favorite type of sweets. Besides chocolate, anything that's made with cinnamon and brown sugar. You know, cinnamon roll, this cake. If you don't want the thing right here to be throughout the cake. Then just swirl it on the top part, okay? Trying to get a fork. Who does that? Who puts spoon in the fork slot? These are the kind of things that make a chef throw things. Thank God I'm not a chef. That's gonna be a problem. Shout out to my cameraman Josh for getting these dynamic angles. Let me pose. Alright guys, I have one last thing to do real quick. I gotta show you the other side of my hat. Step aside, step aside, step aside. Because you're gonna see it in another video, maybe in a mukbang or something. That's the other side. The hats are two-sided. Or like my friends say, they're two-faced. Bye guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Remember guys, we're not buying this book. Why? Because my distributor is ripping me off and not paying me any of my royalties. So for this reason, I redid the book that's being sold on Amazon and I made this book. I removed a bunch of the recipes from the first book because I did not deem them to be authentically Belizean enough. And I put a bunch of brand new recipes in here. So you're gonna get more for your money, okay? So when you buy this book, you're gonna find that the recipes are very easy to understand and the dishes are gonna come out perfect the very first time. So this book was made in 2018. In the middle of the pandemic in 2020, I made this book, The Pantry Laid Bare, and this is restaurant quality, no, not restaurant quality, better than restaurant quality meals at home. Now in 2021, I have my brand new book. This one's called No More Leftovers. Why? Because I reduced some of the recipes from this book, and I put a bunch of brand new recipes in there, but they're all small batches, all right? Now to purchase, all you have to do is visit my website, www.barepantryshow.com. You can shop safely and securely at www.barepantryshow.com. I have this swirl, but I don't think this is done. I'm gonna let it go another 10 minutes, okay?